welcome to TWF Power or Mike. I, Jonathan Coachman, with Mike today and with Montel Vertadius Porter. And today on Power Mike, we now know that Seth Rollins will be fighting Asuka for the TWF heavyweight winnings, at SummerSlam. Even though Jonathan Coachman says that Seth Rollins got wounded in true life yesterday on Starday Night's main show. So will that shift anything here in the toy wrestling gathering? I will think not, Jonathan Coachman says, because unless a dog gets broken, we don't have to worry about that. Well, you're right about that, Mike today says, and you might want to wonder why we're leaning up against a likeness here, because sadly we can't stand up, and if we do seek to stand up, we just fall over. So, that's why we're leaning up against this likeness here, because we can't stand up. We just fall over. Well, I can tell you one thing, Montel Vertadius Porter says, it's sad when folks can't make dolls to stand up, But here's another man, Paulie Dangerously, whose man might be out of it. And I know my man, Bobby Lashley, could take out his man, Seth Rollins, like that. All right, ladies and lords, my name is Paul E. Dangerously, and I am the foreseer and overseer for Seth Rollins. Now, I understand that some folks think that Seth Rollins, who got wounded in WWE yesterday, and some might think that means he won't be wrestling in the TWF. And I'm here to tell you that will happen. Seth Rollins will be fighting Asuka for the TWF heavyweight winnings. However, at SummerSlam, I hope that either Asuka or Ricochet end up being the ones to do it. There's no need who it will be. At the end of the day, Seth Rollins will be the TWF heavyweight fighter. Well, there you go, Jonathan Coachman says. You can see Asuka's in the ring right now. And Asuka is right behind Paulie Dangerously, Jonathan Coachman says. Sadly, Mike today says he doesn't see that, Jonathan. If he did, he would want to shift around. Shift around, Montel Vertadius Porter says. Guess who's behind you? Asuka, you're the woman that I was looking for. Alright? You're the woman that I was looking for. Now, Seth Rollins is not here today. But he stand up. But he did tell me to tell you, stand up. Now, Seth Rollins isn't here right now, but he did want me to stand up. They can't stand up anymore. Stand up. You should just have them lean against the thing because they can't stand up anymore. Yeah, these toys are fucked. They can't stand up anymore. And he wants me to tell you, stand up. And he wants me to tell you that he will beat you at SummerSlam. So at the end of the day, he's not frightened of you at all. Well, is that so, Polly Dangerously? You are speaking in the behalf of your man. You, who likes to run your mouth off so much and thinks that you are the great, think you like to run your mouth off. You did that for Brock Lesnar. You did that for CM Punk. You did that for Roman Reigns. Now you're doing that for Seth Rollins. Well, I don't care who you're running your mouth off for these days. You could be running your mouth off of Curtis Axel or Tony Cesaro, Silverback Ryback, and I still wouldn't give a shit. You could do it for Kurt Angle and Big Show if you wanted to as well, and I still wouldn't care. The grounds is you run your mouth off for a lot of folks over the years. But Seth Rollins not being here, and since we got no Braun Steiner doll, no Bronson Reed doll, I don't think anyone's going to come out to help you. Well, that's where you're wrong, because I am not a wrestler. I am a fighter. Well, I'm not a wrestler. I am a overseer and a foreseer. First you say you're a spokesman. Then you say you're a wise man. Now you're a foreseer. You can't make up your mind whatever the hell you are. But you tell Seth Rollins one thing. What happens in the ring here today will be what happens to you. I'm going to wrestle you today. And don't bullshit me and say you never had any matches before. Yeah, you teamed up once with Brock Lesnar to take on the Dudley Boys. You had a match one time where you fought Sabu. You had a handicap match when you and Jonathan Heidenreich had a handicap box match with The Undertaker. So don't tell me you never wrestled before. Oh no. Oscar? Ding. Well, looks like Jonathan Coachman said we're going to have our match here, and Paulie Dangerously just got all knocked down by Oscar. Jonathan Coachman says, well, Mike today said Paulie Dangerously has only had some matches when him Brock Lesnar teamed up, to take on Matt and Jeff Hardy, or when he fought Sabu once, or him and Jonathan Heidenreich fought The Undertaker once. But those were far and in between matches. Or when him and Silverback Ryback fought CM Punk. Oh no, Paulie Dangerously's going out here. He's being put in the Oscar lock. He's not a wrestler. He's not a fighter. He's an overseer, Montel Vertadius Porter says. That isn't right. That's not fair. Ding. Here is your winner. Asuka. Well, Asuka has won her match here today on Power or Might by beating Paulie Dangerously. And I know a lot of folks are going to say that that's unfair, Jonathan Coachman says, due to the grounds that Paulie Dangerously is not a wrestler. Jonathan Coachman says, but I have seen Paulie Dangerously in some matches in his first run in WWE and also in his 2-dick run in WWE. Yeah, Mike today said I've seen some of those matches too, Paulie Dangerously and Brock Lesnar fought Matt and Jeff Hardy one year. Then Paulie Dangerously had a match with Sabu, once. Then Paulie Dangerously ended up and Jonathan Hyder ended up fighting The Undertaker. And then years later, CM Punk fought, Silverback Ryback and Paulie Dangerously fought CM Punk in a Hell in a Cell match. So, a steel cell match. So yeah, we did see him wrestle sometimes in WWF and WWE. But that's not fair. He's not a wrestler. He's not a fighter. He's not an overstar, Montel Ricadius Porter says. It would be like me with Bobby Lashley, and then someone put me in the ring. But I am a former wrestler, a former fighter. Paulie Dangerously is not. Well, speaking of dueling, said Montel Ricadius Porter said, so it is unfair. Well, speaking of that, we're going to have Gene Okerlund right now be talking with Paulie Dangerously. All right. Thank you, Jonathan Coachman and Mike today. I'm going to be talking with Paulie Dangerously here today on Powerrr Mike. All right, Paulie Dangerously, I saw that you were in the ring, with Asuka, the TWF heavyweight fighter, and the Kaiserin of tomorrow. Oh, first off, Gene Okerlund, I'm no wrestler. I'm no fighter. I'm no overstar. And what happened to me, it should have not happened. Asuka, you think you're so cool? Putting your hands on and wrestling someone who is not a wrestler, not a fighter? Well, guess what? You made a big mistake. Well, maybe Asuka did make a mistake, or maybe you made a mistake of being in a ring with her. Whatever, your man, Seth Rollins, will fight Asuka at SummerSlam. If Asuka gets by Ricochet, then it'll be Ricochet fighting Asuka. Ricochet fighting Seth Rollins. Asuka is going to wish, Gene Okerlund, she never put her hands on me. She's going to wish that she never even gotten in a ring with me when I tell Seth Rollins what she did. She will not be the Kaiserin of tomorrow. She won't have a tomorrow. Well, those seem to be threats, And yeah, you seem to be good at giving threats. You gave threats in the AWA, threats in WCW, threats in AWA, MACW, WCW, ECW, WWF, WWE. It's not a threat, Gene Okerlund. It's an oath. I will get even with Asuka, and so will Seth Rollins. Well, that's my talk with Paulie Dangerously. Back to you, Jonathan Coachman and Mike today. Well, thank you, Gene Okerlund, for talking with Paulie Dangerously here today on Powerrr Mike. And that's all the time we got here for Powerrr Mike. I, Jonathan Coachman, with Mike today and Montel Ricadius Porter, we hope you like Powerrr Mike, and we'll see you tomorrow for Monday Night Raw.